So how did you get into the music industry? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what was your first kind of mark in the music industry?
I started off on the goon side, and a lot of people don't know Suge ain't the best. He ain't the best reader in the world. So, actually, let me rewind. Um, it started off. We had a project at Wolfpack Records. We did a Roger Troutman tribute where we kind of replayed a bunch of his music, working with Battle Cat, a bunch of people like that. Um, and then my homeboy Pooh Ryder, rest in peace. He had paroled. He was on the yard with Suge in the penitentiary, so he paroled, and he was working for Death Row. He was living in one of their houses, driving their cars. He chose to go that route with it, the soldier route. That's what he did, and he did it well. Um, Through him, I met Reggie Wright. Reggie was running Death Row at the time. Without Reggie, Death Row would have folded in the 90s. It would have never made it to the 2000s. Um, the building that went in foreclosure. Um, all that shit was going on. Reggie turned around, refinanced it, put shit in his name, so on and so forth. It's a lot he can talk about, he just doesn't. So with meeting Reggie, I started coming up to Death Row, doing some business with Reggie. We went out on a few events and shit. Few things happened, a lot of notable fights, Soul Train Awards and shit like that. Shit we tore up. And at that time, Reggie kind of told Suge, like, yo, Pooh homeboy be through here whack. He bought his business, but the nigga like, he helping the nigga hold it down, right? He helping us hold it down. So Suge was like, cool, I want to meet him as soon as I come home. So I think Suge might have paroled in 2000, 2001 or something like that. By this time, I already had my trucking business going on. I was like maybe 2, 3 trucks in. I just started getting off into real estate. So I was probably doing about, I paroled in 99. So within 2 years, I was probably doing about 600, 800,000 a year. It wasn't a whole lot, but it wasn't bad. I was still on parole, right? But I was all the
Hey,
way,
and that's good for a nigga getting out on
yeah,
parole.
I
Like,
was all the
that's
way legal.
really good money because a lot of people
Yeah,
don't even know when
because
you're on
one of the trucks
parole,
I was
you
driving,
can't. It's hard to get a job
you can't
anywhere
do
when you're on
it.
parole and shit.
Everything was self-employed. The one of the trucks I was driving, I had two more under me, and then I started doing real estate, flipping houses and shit like that. So within me doing real estate, I started noticing like these origination fees, these loan fees I'm paying, the money I had to pay the fucking realtor to find the cribs, all this shit. So as a felon, I couldn't get a real estate license or I couldn't get a loan, a broker's license to do loans. So I sent my wife to school to get the real estate license. I would run real, the real estate through her. And then I met this old man who had a broker license. So I told him, hang your license, let me run the building with my own people, and I'll give you a guaranteed 10,000 a month and $1,000 per deal on top of that. So whether I did 5 deals or 8 deals, I had to pay him 10,000. If I did 15 deals, he got paid 15,000. A good deal for him because he wasn't doing shit with his loan license. So now I got the trucking business going. One truck I'm manning. That truck's doing about 350 a year. A third of that go to cost, right? So you figure I was clearing about 260 or so. I had two other trucks under me, which a third go to cost, third go to driver, third go to me. So that was like another 100 and something or so. And then I had the real estate side, which I'm finding houses. So if the house is worth a half a million and it's 4 points on the house, 2 points go to my wife because she's a realtor I'm using to represent me. And then I'm doing my own loans. So I'm making money from the bank doing my own loans, but zeroing out all my fees. So some I kept, some I flipped. You know what I mean? So that's how it was going. So probably about 2001 or two, Suge comes home. I already got these things going on. We bond quick. So it's an everyday thing. I'm telling you, bro, I drive a rig. I ain't coming on every day. I get with you on Fridays and so. So that was our program, right? I come down there Friday, fuck with him on the weekend, get back on the road. He tried to get me to shut the truck down. I said, unless you're going to give me a half a million to shut down for a year, which covers me 2 years, it ain't happening. So I would never let nobody disrupt my program. Was not happening. So I was moving around with him, doing a lot of shit with him, and I started to pick up a bad rep in the music industry because bro really pushes a line. He'll tell you, yo, we got to go on this meeting. All right, cool. We get to the spot, we go in the office, and this nigga lock the door and start moving. From that point, we moving. But now people is recognizing that certain people are with him when these things is going on. So maybe about a year into Suge coming home, him and Reggie fell out. Reggie left because he was not only running the road, he was running the security company, which was like Right Way or Right some shit in security. So he left. Him and Bob Gotti leaves. They go to American Music. Took one of the acts, Big Y and them, also known as the Relatives. You might know him, Cray. He took that to American Music, and then he did a deal over there. Probably about 2003 or so, four. Suge lost Death Row, and then Death Row turned into Da Row, DA Row. He lost it in the lawsuit. So I'm on him about, yo, we need to do some music business or do some movie business or something. Arnold Schwarzenegger coming up to the office, ain't nothing happening. He has no distribution, so he says, but he did. He just didn't have distribution with the majors, with Universal. He could have did distribution through Koch Records at the time, but they was an indie, and I think his pride, the ego was into it. Like, I left, I was under Universal. I'm not coming back and gonna fall up under an indie, right? So he had sold half his catalog to Koch Records, a deal that Reggie Wright had negotiated. So quite naturally, they would have gave him a distribution deal. He never went that way. About 2005 or so, it was over with. They took the building. He lost 100% of his catalog. Well, Koch, he sold the half. The second half, he lost to a Canadian woman up in Canada, right? Um, Koch Records is a Canadian company. They turned around and brought that half from the lady. So now Koch Records owned 100% of the catalog. So at Death Row, a lot of people come through there. Ray J, Left Eye. They renamed her Nina. You had the realist over there, which was like a fake version of Tupac. If you go listen to the Above the Rim soundtrack, um, his name is Tanenikin on there. He's from Dallas. Hell of a rapper, but he just they needed Biggie. When Biggie got killed, it fucked everything up. He had recreated Pac. He had a fake Snoop Dogg looking dude. Like everybody that was there, he went and got lookalikes that was rappers, and he was gonna try to continue the beef to get Puffy
That's
from Kane,
crazy.
right? If you go pull up the realest right now and look at him, you will see, oh shit, I see what you're talking about, right? Um, if you go, what's the name of it? The Pac album in early 2000s. It got a strong street fame, and this is what it sound like when we ride on our enemies.
Oh yeah, yeah. I can't think of it, but that's the one where it's like a black cover. He's like leaning against the wall
There
or
you
some shit.
go. There
I
you
know
go.
exactly. Yeah, I
Death
can't
Row
think of the
dropped
name.
it early
Yeah.
2000 after his death. If you go listen to some of them songs, Street Fame, this is what it sound like when we ride on our enemies and shit like that, right? All that ain't Pac. Half of that shit is the realest. World
Well,
never
here's
knew
the
it.
thing.
He
I heard
filled
with
in.
Pac, Death Row was given a lot. Was giving Pac a lot of records, like Snoop. All these people were giving records, especially when he had gotten out of jail. Like California Love, like I heard wasn't even
Well,
his song. Like I
well,
heard that
no,
was Dre's
it
song or
was
something, right?
no Dre producer. You gotta remember, Dre's also a producer first,
Right, right, yeah.
right? So yeah, Dre had a bunch of shit in that library. You know what I mean? So shit, he turned it on. And the nigga laid on it. He just killed the shit. So you know what you do when a nigga kill the shit. You know, you let it come out, which was a great thing. Um, it's about 2004 or 5. Everything was over with. Now take it, I stayed the course. I never let my trucking company go. I refuse to wear a death row chain because once you put that chain on, nigga, it's like the female that moved into the nigga's house and you driving the nigga's car. You belong to him and you start calling him Simon. You notice you hear people call him Simon. I never call him that shit because that shit means some disrespectful shit, right? You know what I'm saying? You come out, yo, go to the store. Why I gotta go? Cause Simon said go, nigga. Straight up. Once you put that chain around your neck and take that little, you was paying them niggas a month, nigga, you was done for. I refuse to do it. I refuse to do it because I have my own shit going on, right? So about '05, we fell out. We got into it. Now what that nigga did, he tried to do something. Oh, I was doing some business with Live Nation. My man AD, who was a program director at K-Day, he got with me and said, Wack, I got to plug a Live Nation with Nick Masters. You got all the artists. He willing to cut you the check if you can provide and guarantee the artist. So what was happening was this. He may have a lineup that cost him $2 million, right? So what he would do is cut me the check. I would call the very same artist, right? And I might get the whole lineup for 1.7 because it's me. They not charging me like they charging them. One nigga might want 200, he might charge me 175. So you cut them 25s and 50s, off of a group of acts. It's 300 left. Live Nation didn't give a fuck what I spent, long as it wasn't over the 2 million. So I would take that, whatever was left, it was 1.7, 300 was left. I cut it up with my man, AD, 150 a piece, and then we made money off the door too. So I started doing that. So I was getting them hits like every quarter. So it was like Crush Groove, How the West was one. You probably know that one, Cray. We did
Yeah,
that one
yeah,
in,
yeah,
in
yeah.
Irvine.
Yeah,
How
but
the
yeah, but
West
Edie
was
I
one.
mean, yeah, man. Yeah.
All them shows was me brokering and doing the shows. So now I was making another $150 or so a quarter. That's another, 600 a year on top of the trucking shit, on top of the real estate shit. My first, I was filthy dirty from the Suge shit. All the shit, riots and fights and all this shit we doing, running up in niggas' offices and all this crazy shit. Um, my first deal was with Ray J, Sexy Can I.
So that was the first
That's my first
your first artist.
legitimate deal was with
Okay,
Ray J.
that's dope. That's dope.
And I met K Slay right before that. It might have been '06, '05, somewhere around there, wherever All Star Weekend was in Las Vegas. Me and K Slay came across each other. And I met Slay. I'm like, yo, we ain't got New York radio no more, bro. We done burnt this shit down. We need to build it back up. Took his number, we started building on the phone. He like, yo, Wack, you send me some people, I'ma send you some people, and let's cross the business. Niggas wanna do videos out there, need to get on the radio. I send them to you, your guys, you send to me. I show them love. Let's build up this fucking line of communication that was torn down between the Death Row Bad Boy shit. From that, Glasses Malone, Kendrick Lamar, J Rock from TDE, YG, Nipsey Hussle, all them people got their first New York spin through Wack 100. To me sending them to K Slay at Shade 45 and then him spinning them at Hot 97 on the Drama Hour. And then when he went and worked the strip clubs, he would have the DJ spin their music and do all that shit for him.